What's up, this is your boy DJ Paul, and I'm proud to be a member of the BMI family.
Yeah.
As a child, I was listening to a lot of rock music because I was watching MTV. I think I was the only person in the neighborhood with cable. And I was watching a lot of MTV, and I think back then obviously MTV back then was just rock, and pop. So I listened to a lot of rock and a lot of Michael Jackson and Prince. What piqued my interest into becoming a rapper would be MC Shadi. I tell this story a lot. MC Shadi, he's from Atlanta. He was signed to Luke Skywalker. And he had a song called I Gotta Be Tough. And he said, I'm MC Shadi and I gotta be tough. Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince first album, Beastie Boys first album, NWA first album. All those is what took me over the edge. My daddy wanted me to be Michael Jackson though. He put me in organ lessons a long time ago when I was in 5th grade. And he made me take organ lessons and I hated it. And he's like, you're gonna be the next Michael Jackson. I'm like, no, I'm not, I can't even sing. So all that did it. My musical style in 3 words is horrorcore crunk music. Because it got a lot of, not all of it is not horrorcore. It started off that way, but it always tends to have a lot of darkness in the music. A lot of minor keys and a lot of darkness, but not all the time. Like some songs wasn't dark, but a lot of them are. My input in the group, I would say, would be the dark sound. So when Juicy made beats, he didn't really make dark beats. I was more the one that made dark beats. His beats was more on the kind of cleaner side. I wouldn't say clean, it just wasn't dark. So which made us have a perfect blend. I was more on the dark side because of the organ lessons. The organ lessons, organ is a creepy instrument when you think about it. Like, I don't think I've ever heard a pretty song played in an organ. Plus I was so much into horror movies and serial killer books, and I collected a lot of that when I was young. So I would say that would be one of the main things I brought to the group, the dark sound and the crunk sound because of the rock music. So I'll start with Stay Fly. I grew up listening to a lot of New York rap, and I loved Styles P's song, I Get High. I get high, I get high, I get high. And how he sped the record up. A lot of New York producers used to speed the records up and have it all sounding all chipmunky. So I wanted to make something like that, and I found that the sample that I used for Stay Fly, which sounded like it was high pitched, but it really wasn't. It was just Willie Hutch just singing in a high pitch. And I just made that beat out of that, and then Juicy came up with the hook, and then we had a banger. To the club of me and Lord Infamous, my brother Lord Infamous, rest in peace. We had, I just DJ'd at the club. I used to have a club called DJ Paul's Playhouse. And at some point it was like DJ Paul's Clubhouse. We kind of just, but it depends on how drunk we was, what we would call it. We're talking about like 1990, early 90s. And we left the club one night, and it was wee hours of the morning, and we went to McDonald's. We were just talking about how wild we had the club, because I would be DJing in the club and Lord Infamous would be MCing or whatever. And we was talking about how wild it was, and I was like, man, it was crazy up in there tonight, man. And I just kind of said, I was like, man, we tore the club up. And Lord was like, man, that's a good idea. We should make a song like that. And I was like, man, that would be dope. And we went to my house and we made Tear the Club Up, the first one. That was like 1991. And then since then, we made 100 more of them. And all the way up to Tear the Club Up 97, which was the one that was released to the world through Relativity Records. And that's what blew us up and gave us our first gold album. Man, I love working across various music genres because, like I said earlier, I like trying things. I like learning stuff, from some people, like, for instance, like this song that we won the Grammy for with Killer Mike. I like working with Killer Mike because he liked trying things too. So, like he liked getting choirs together, and, I don't even know how where and when or how he do all of this, but I love how he added the choir and all that to the song, you know, it just takes my production to another level when I'm working with other creatives that think outside the box like I do. Man, I just love trying stuff, you know, to the point where sometimes it hurts me. You know, like I was trying EDM music before it was even the word EDM, you know, like it wasn't, they didn't even call it EDM back then. They just called it like electronic music. Then they had dubstep. So I was trying to make dubstep mixed with rap back in 2006. You know, people thought I was crazy. I never forget, I let Juicy hear it. He's like, man, I don't like all that shit. And I was like, man, I'm telling you, man, this is gonna be dope. So I got an album coming out called Music for the Funeral. And it's me and a guy from the UK named Cordell, who was a popular funk producer. But yeah, I've been working on this since 2006. It's a mix of dubstep, horrorcore rap, crunk rap, and EDM and funk, all of that successfully mixed together. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing else out here like it. Nobody has anything out here like it. I put it like that. You know, I'm really proud of this project. It's really dope. So back in the day, you know, everybody had to meet at the studio together. I still like that personally. But you know, these days with technology, everything is done basically over the internet, over the phone, over computers, and it's cool. It works great. So I've done a lot of successful projects like that. I've done some successful projects with kids all the way in Russia. You know, they'll do a piece, they'll send it to me, I'll do a piece, send it back. You know, we just keep sending it back and forth to each other till we get it right. And you know, you got Dropbox where you can join folders and do all of that together or whatever. There's a ton of apps that you can do that with these days. Or no apps at all, just email. And I like that, but with this project that I just did with my guy Cordell, he's from the UK, but he lives in California, and we did stuff through the phones, through the emails, but we also met every week, once a week or once every 2 weeks, just to tighten everything up. Because I'm old school. I still like to meet in person and do it, because there's only so much you can tell somebody over a phone or over an email. I like to physically be there and be like, man, you know, just move this over a tat, just a hair. You know, like if you take somebody and be like, scoot it over a hair, they don't really know what that means. Especially if they're from Russia or Great Britain, they be like, man, what do you mean, like scoot it over a hair? I'm like, oh, I'm not talking to nobody from Memphis. Okay, let me figure out how to do this. Let's just meet up and let me show you how to do it, what a hair means. So when I said scoot it over a hair, it's really like the size of a hair, like a in your pants size hair. So I like to meet in person and do stuff, but don't get me wrong, there's a lot of huge, probably most records out these days with collaborators I've done through email and online. Oh man, it's easy, cause my dad did a lot of stuff. My dad owned a pest control company, he owned real estate. So, you know, ever since I was a little kid, you know, sitting on the ground, playing with Tonkas and Transformers, watching my dad do plumbing at these properties. So like, I own a bunch of properties, but I have property managers. But my dad didn't have a property manager. You know, he couldn't afford that. You know, these houses was in the projects that he bought and rented out and worked on himself. So, you know, I'd be sitting up there watching him, you know, fixing everything himself and all that. And, you know, one minute he over here spraying houses, pest control, and another minute he over here working on houses that he fix up and rent out. So I still kind of do the same thing outside the pest control part, but I just like to do a lot of stuff, because one day I was in Tennessee and I was at this restaurant, and this lady walked up to me. I want to give my husband a computer for his birthday. She's like, what do you suggest? And I told her what kind of computer I like and this and that. And then my brother that was with me, he asked her, he's like, what do you do? And she was like, well, we own a bunch of different things. She said, you're always supposed to have 7 different forms of income. You know, she said, that's like a rule, always have 7 different forms of income. So I kind of been sticking with that for a long time. I think I'm probably up to 700 now. 3 proudest moments of my career, that's easy. My first gold plaque out the album with Teddy Club up on it, Chapter 2 World Domination, the Oscar, and the Grammy. Oh man, that's easy. The best advice I can give music creators is to be different. Man, be different. They're gonna laugh at you at first. You know, they laughed at me. So, you know, just be different, man. Just stick to your guns. And, you know, like, try for, you know, a few years. I don't know, 5, 10, 20 years. At some point, maybe it'll work.